This week I'm inside the Range Rover P510e. This is a plug-in hybrid Range Rover Sport. This vehicle, I'm going to show you every single thing you need to know about this car, from the exterior look of the vehicle, interior look of the vehicle, show you all the TV screens that this car has, and then my driving impressions, and at the end of everything, cost of ownership, and I'm going to tell you whether to buy this vehicle or look elsewhere. So going into the exterior look of the vehicle, up front you get Range Rover lettering up here, finished in grey. Then you get the grille in black and lower end as well. Here you get this front camera, which helps a lot when for such a big vehicle you need to have cameras. So this car has a 360 camera, so you see every single thing. And the selling piece of this car as well is the rear wheel steering. We'll speak more about that in the driving impressions, but up front that's what you get. And you get this bronze finish here, just in between the fog lights and the headlamps, and up front just underneath the number plate you get this nice bronze finish. It's something I do like about the car. Up front it's very minimalist. They're not doing too much. They don't go try and make things very crazy up front. You can still tell that it's a Range Rover. At the back, however, is where they did a lot of changing. Let's go to the back. Let me show you when I say they did a lot of changing. And initially I was not a fan of the car, but having spent some time with the car, I might have changed my mind. Moving on to the back, but just before I come to the back, there's something that I really want you guys to see, and it's the wheels. Those wheels are 22 inch. These are the biggest wheels on a car that I've driven, and in this vehicle it doesn't feel like 22 inch wheels. We'll speak more about that in my driving impressions. But moving on to the back, you get the Range Rover lettering just as well, just like how it is in front. You get it here at the back. But the lights of the car is something that I was not sure about when the car was officially launched and showed to us last year. I was not sure about the light design at the back. I personally was not a fan of this vehicle. I like the older sibling, which I call the Kim Kardashian. So I call that on Kim Kardashian. This has to be who? Khloe Kardashian. So that's the one I like. Is the one with the lights going from the top to bottom. So those are the ones I like. These ones I was not sure, but the time I've spent with the car is actually welcoming, and I've grown to loving this vehicle. Moving on to the lower end of the car, over here you get this diffuser style. It's something I do like about the car. Nice finish. And then you obviously get a tow bar, but the tow bar is currently stored away underneath, but you can control it from the boot as well or inside, and then it will come out electronically. You don't have to push and pull. And then something that I actually do like, and I actually just found out now, is that with the exhaust down there, that exhaust is directly connected to the back box. So it's not an exhaust around, it's the actual exhaust. And you know what? It looks big. Does it sound as good as it looks? Honestly, it does sound as good as it looks, and that's because of the engine it has. And I'm going to keep that a bit of a secret until I drive the vehicle, so that you guys can know the type of engine this has. And you can trust me, you're going to be shocked when I tell you the engine it has, and you're going to think I'm lying, and until you do your own research. But I've told you about the exterior look of the vehicle. And then something that I actually need to touch on is up here, these two fins you're seeing here. The left hand side one has a camera. That camera is your rear view mirror, but you can change it to a normal rear view mirror or change it to the camera mirror. You'll see it now on the Voplace videos, and just more, we'll speak more about it when I get into the vehicle. So I've told you everything you need to know about the exterior look of the vehicle. Let's go inside and show you what luxury is and why you're spending at minimum 2.8 million rand for this car. So jumping into the interior of the Range Rover Sport plug-in hybrid, there is so much to speak about here. So I'm going to try my level best to speak about the things you'd like to know about this vehicle. So obviously, you guys know I always say you get a digital instrument cluster, touchscreen infotainment system, because in 2023, literally almost every car that I get on test has a digital instrument cluster and a touchscreen infotainment system. With the Range Rover, is not the biggest one that I've seen in vehicles, but it does the job. It works perfectly, and I do like it. Moving into the touchscreen infotainment system, that's where a lot has changed. So this is big. So in the previous Range Rover, you would get like a smaller touchscreen infotainment system within the dashboard up here, and then you'll get your climate control system down here with a screen as well. So Land Rover, Range Rover have gone away with that and done this, and then they've given you your climate control down here. Your climate control can't be operated within the infotainment system. It's all down here, which is something I do like, because you still get, so you don't get physical buttons, but you get haptic feedback buttons. So when you press, you do feel it that you've pressed it. So the icon is down there. So here's push and pull. So right now I'm currently on my heated and ventilated seats. So if I pull it, it will take me to the fan speed. So if I go like that, you should be hearing it soon. There. it blows, and then if I push it in again, it's gonna take me to the temperature, and then I work with the temperature, and then your heater seats and all the stuff is also operated. Yeah, something I do like about the car, very minimalist. They didn't go overboard. You get your start button here and your gear selector here. So Range Rover, Land Rover have gone away with that rotary dial gear selector that pops up. It's something that I wish they could have kept, but you get this one with your park button here on the side, and then this button here is for your all-terrain. So currently right now the car's in comfort, hence this thing has popped up. If I press it down, it'll go into auto meaning it'll decide by itself on the type of terrain you're on. So now it can tell that I'm on road. If I go off-road, it will tell that I'm off-road, and it will adjust the car depending on the driving mode. Then down here underneath that button, you get your hill descent control, your low range, and in the middle there's a button called EV. EV, you press that button, you can cycle through hybrid, EV, and save. Hybrid meaning that the car will decide whether it wants to use the engine or the battery, depending, you still do have battery. And then EV, it'll just use full EV, like it won't even go on the on the engine, it'll just use the battery. And then save, it'll try its best to save your battery whilst using more of the engine. So for me, I prefer it on hybrid, so the bit of best of both worlds. So moving back onto the touchscreen infotainment system, so there's a lot you can do here. Firstly, you get wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, just that it's not connected right now, but it's wireless. That's something I do like about the car. And then right now you can see EV there. It will show you your percentage. So currently I'm on 52% with 45 kilometers of range. So if you do the math, then it's on 100%. You should be playing around 90 kilometers, which is decent enough for the vehicle, but I do wish it just had a bit more, so you can get a bit more out of the range. But I'll speak more about that in the driving impression of the vehicle. Then there's this camera button there. If you press that camera button, you can see that the passenger left door is currently open, rear door is currently open, because that's where the cameraman Vaughn is. So that's open. It'll show you everywhere. So if you want to see there, it'll rotate to that part. So something I do like about the car, but you can do so much here. So there's on-road camera, off-road camera. It focuses on, because that door's open, it can't really show the front tire there, the front left tire, but focus on the right-hand tire, on the right-hand side tire. It shows you when you're off-roading, so you can see the rocks or whatever and right in front of you. So if I turn to the left, to the right, it'll show me to the right, and then you get you can lock your rear diff and also lock the center electronically. Something I do like about the car. Then there's something called towing. When you press towing, you can, when I said, you can stow your tow bar there. So you show you the screen there. Also deploy. If I say deploy, you should hear it. There, it's deploying. Back to the camera, you should see it pop up there. There we go. And I drive it like that most of the time. So that's with regards to the infotainment system, but there is so much more you can play with. You press the setting button over there. You get quick, then you can get home screen. You can edit how you want your home screen to be, but because it's not my car, I haven't edited it yet, and I will not. Then you get audio. Audio is where you play around with the sound system. So you can change it. You can decide how you want the subwoofer to be. So there's stereo, there's meridian, then there's another meridian. That's the best one, and the way I've set it up is the way I think is the best way. Then there's all is literally everything, your connectivity, your accounts, and you can have a software update. The car is due for a software update. It will take 45 minutes, but I'm not going to touch it because it's not my car at the end of the day. So there is so much to do with this vehicle, and you need to sit down and spend time. As I'm saying, I've done so much with this vehicle, but I still do feel like there is things that I've missed with the touchscreen infotainment system. But moving on to that, so there's the camera. I see it properly. Press that, it's a normal mirror. Press that, the rearview mirror is a camera again. So optional extras in terms of the interior up here in front is obviously the Meridian is standard, but you can opt for a Meridian signature. This one is called Meridian 3D. It comes standard in this vehicle, obviously, because you're paying 2.8. That's standard, but you can opt for Meridian signature, which definitely bangs more than this one, but this one is decent enough. And then you get black roof lining, but this roof lining has a suede finish. That's an optional extra up front. That's the optional extra for this vehicle. But the other optional extras are at the back. So let me go to the back and show you the 47,000 Rand optional extra, and it's something that is known to be found in Range Rovers, and I think it's the option that as a Range Rover buyer you need to take, because if you don't take that option, your Range Rover is not complete. So coming to the back is where I, as the driver of this vehicle would also like to be driven in is somewhere here at the back. You can easily do a trip to Cape Town in this vehicle from the driver's seat or here at the back. There is so much leg room, as you can see. Headroom, there is so much as well. So firstly, there's something called peasant blockers you get in this car, and it's this. And I wish this wasn't manual, because why am I paying almost 3 million rand, but I still need to be using my hands. I need to be pressing a button, but it's just those small things. Obviously, this is the optional extra speaking about the TV screens at the back. So you get HDMI 1 and 2. You can set it up either there in front or here. Give me a second. So you get your cup holders there. I do like the cup holders because they are closed, so I can rest, and that then you can open them, and then here at the back, like that, if you open here, you get your 2 HDMI slots. You plug that in there, whether with your laptop or whatever device that you have. And then if you do want to charge the device, you're plugging it in. It has you get a 2-point plug down there. But back to the screen, HDMI 1, and you can watch whatever you want to watch. So now I'm sure you guys are wondering, okay, cool, Nikki, I can watch my shows here, but how am I gonna hear the shows? Does the Range Rover silence the back speaker for me, all of this stuff? Obviously that won't work, because you find that Vaughn is up front playing his R&B on a Sunday, like he always does, and Anna watch my movies here at the back. It will clash if Range Rover were to do it that way. So when you get this, Range Rover gives you headsets. So you get Land Rover Range Rover headsets here. They branded. So these ones, you connect them via Bluetooth. You can charge them as well. It comes with the Type-C cable here. You watch your stuff there. And I'm sure you guys are also wondering, okay, Nikki, what if I have another passenger on this side and they also want to watch their own stuff? Well, why are you not? By that door, that side, there's also headsets. So you get 2 sets of headphones so that the people at the back can watch their stuff in peace with no disturbances. So now the vehicle is shutting down. It says vehicle shutting down, continue using the screen. Obviously I'm gonna say what? Yes. So the vehicle will be shut down, but I can still be able to use my screen here and charge the car and charge whatever device I have. But honestly, here at the back is a nice part of the vehicle. Is it where I'd like to spend most of my time? No, because this car drives amazingly. And when I say drives amazingly, it's because of that engine. So let's just show you the boot capacity and then my driving impressions of the car. So now moving on to here at the back before we do my driving impressions and cost of ownership of the vehicle. So here's the tow bar I spoke about, and I'm going to show you how to get rid of it. So here there's 4 types of buttons, right? There's the tow bar one. Just hold on, give me a second. You press it, and then the tow bar will abracadabra, disappear. So there's that. You get the boot space is not the biggest boot space for me personally. For the size of the vehicle, it's not the biggest, but it's decent enough. I need you guys to remember that at the back here, you get the batteries of the vehicle. So they're located right here at the back. So you can see that the boot capacity is slightly compromised. Hence, those part is flat loading, which is a nice thing. But you can tell that you don't get as much boot capacity as you'd get in a normal Range Rover because of the batteries situated here at the back. The nice thing as well, you can divide it like that. So if you have things that you feel like will move around, put them that side, they won't move around. And this, so you guys also wondering, because Vaughn was wondering, how do you remove that? Simplest. Then you're done. So that's with regards to, so if you can see, the 2 left-hand side seats are currently lower than the right-hand side seats. So I can control it from here at the back as well. So I can drop that seat. I can take it forward as well. And something is, for example, something that I really do like about this car, and it's my first test car that I've experienced it in. For example, if I have something heavy, right, and I don't want to load it down to the car and load it up, you can lift the boot. So press and hold, the car's lifting. It does tell on camera that it's lifting, right? Exactly. So you can lift, and then the car will just lift at the back. In front, it will be like this. So the car will be like that. Something if you want to lift, or if you have something very heavy and you don't want to do the whole lifting too, but it's quite high. Wow. And you don't want to do the lifting up. You can easily just do what? Drop it. Woo. Air suspension, guys. Air suspension. But these things come at a cost, 2.8 million rand. And I wonder how much it's going to cost to replace the air suspension if and when it does go. Because Range Rovers are known for that. So I don't need to tell you that, but you guys know that. But boot capacity is more than enough. So let's do my driving impressions of the vehicle and cost of ownership, and I'm gonna tell you my overall verdict of this vehicle. So now you guys join me inside the Range Rover plug-in hybrid for my driving impressions of the vehicle, and first thing I need to do is this. So if you know that sound, you must probably thinking it sounds like a certain German vehicle or vehicles, and I'll speak more about the engine just now. So this is the P510e. This is the one that's found just underneath the 4.4 liter V8 model of this one, and that V8 model is called the P530e. So this, obviously, just because it's just underneath, it obviously should have a potent engine and something of significance, and it has an engine from the German counterparts, Shared Driving Pleasure. I won't mention the company name, but if you know Shared Driving Pleasure, then you obviously know the manufacturer I'm speaking about. So it's a 3-liter 6-cylinder turbo petrol engine mated to 8-speed gearbox, and it has, because a plug-in hybrid, it has batteries, which also helps with the fuel efficiency, and you can drive it in EV mode only. So power-wise here, you're looking at 375 kilowatts and 700 newton meters of torque. And the weight of this vehicle, you're looking around in and about 2.6, 2.7 tons. That is a lot. Hence, you need to have a potent engine so that the car doesn't feel as heavy. And honestly, the car is heavy, but it doesn't feel as heavy. The only time you'll feel the weight of the car is through corners and bends, and that's only if you push in the car. So for example, if you see a corner and you're not be a boy driver, race driver, all those type of things, you'll feel the weight of the vehicle. You'll feel that, you know what, I am something quite heavy. But Range Rover, Land Rover have went through so much to make sure that it doesn't feel that heavy. It doesn't feel that boaty or floaty. It feels floaty because of the air suspension, so it's very quite comfortable. The suspension over humps like that, it feels good. The drive of the vehicle is amazing. It's one that you just feel like just keep doing. Honestly, for me, I could drive this vehicle from here, Gauteng, Pretoria, all the way to Cape Town and back. It's one of those vehicles, it gives you that you just want to keep doing so much of the vehicle. So speaking more about the air suspension, so there's access is the lowest mode, and it goes down to when you're parking or when you're just slow maneuvering. And then there's normal is where the car will always be. And then when you're off-roading, there's off-road 1. If you need higher ground clearance, it'll go to off-road 2. And that's what regards to the air suspension. And something that this vehicle has is rear wheel steering, and rear wheel steering in this vehicle is amazing. See, now there's a circle now. I'm just gonna go around the circle full 360, and you'll see I am not going to turn, do like a 3-point turn. I'm doing a circle there. As you can see, I am doing a circle. So the rear wheel steering in this vehicle works amazingly. I watched obviously, so sometimes I do tend to watch other people's reviews just to hear what they say. And I watched one of my favorite car reviewers, Matt Watson, and he, for reference, he said the turning circle of this vehicle is like a turning circle of a VW Golf. And honestly, having driven the car, I can commend and say yes, he is not wrong. This car, as big and long as it is, it turns now. That rear wheel steering does a lot of work for this vehicle, and it makes the driving experience of this vehicle much better. When you're in like a shopping complex and you're in a park and all that stuff, you do not struggle with this vehicle because it feels like you're driving a small car. Big and spacious, but it feels like you're driving a small car. So fuel efficiency of this vehicle, obviously, so when I am driving on hybrid mode, right? So there's hybrid, there's save, and there is EV. EV is when you're just driving on battery power alone. So battery power alone, there is no fuel efficiency. But when I'm in hybrid mode, where the engine is also part of the equation, you're looking at averaging. So it's hybrid mode. The vehicle came to me as averaging 9.8. I managed to bring it down to an 8.7 or so. And in something this big with that specific engine, the fuel efficiency is okay. But my downfall in this vehicle is the, what do you call this thing, the battery. So the battery it's not rechargeable, if that makes sense. So you use the battery power, and then you have to plug it in to recharge it. So the engine doesn't do the recharging for you and all of those fancy stuff. You need to go physically and plug it in, and you get around about 90 kilometers of extended range on that battery pack. So on the battery, when that dies out, you use the engine alone. And that's when this car becomes thirsty. You know, that 6-cylinder comes to life, the sound of the car. And with the sound of this vehicle, you find yourself putting your foot down when you don't need to. So you end up easily going from averaging around 8 to 9 liters to 12, 13, 14 liters per 100. But if you can spend 2.8 million rand, who cares? So that's with regards to driving dynamics of the vehicle. It's okay. So I need to speak about this engine. It does so much for you. It brings a smile on your face. So now we speak about the cost of ownership of the vehicle, and for the amount of money, would I recommend this vehicle to you? Would I tell you to look elsewhere? And for that, I need to be relaxed, not driving and enjoying the vehicle, but just relaxing, telling you every single thing you need to know. So for that, let's step outside and do it. So my overall impressions of this vehicle, honestly, I love this vehicle. I've spent couple of days with the vehicle. I still have a few more days to spend with the car, and I'm yet to find like that thing where I don't like about the car. Obviously, one thing that I really don't like about the car is the sound system. This specific one is that it tends to, when at low bass, if the door open, low volume, you can hear the bass just keep knocking. But obviously you can adjust that, but it's something that I don't like. Sometimes I'd want it to be not too bassy, and it just knocks the sound system. Even in your like level, volume is on 10, it'll still knock, and it goes all the way to 60. So it's those life problems that you'd want to have as an owner of those cars, that, oh, my car knocks at level 10 and it can go to volume 60. So it's those nice life problems. I haven't had any time where I've said I do not like this specific thing about this car. Oh, except for how heavy it is on the fuel. But you also do understand, for the engine it has and the size of the vehicle, it all comes at a cost. If you want a more fuel efficient Range Rover, you can obviously get the diesel. So me complaining about this one is, I'm nitpicking here and there, but that's with regards to the car. Overall thoughts of the vehicle, I do like the car. I would recommend the vehicle, but just before I speak about recommendations, speak about the cost of ownership of this vehicle. So if you finance this vehicle at 2.8 million rand, which I personally, financing this vehicle, you need to be some brave. You need to really, really be brave. But let's just say you do finance this vehicle at an interest rate of 12.25%, and its starting price at 2.8 million rand. You're looking at, over a period of 60 months, which is 5 years, you're looking at paying 54,741. And that is a lot of money. Imagine 54,000 every month leaving your account. So I personally wouldn't say to you, finance this vehicle. I always say, die once. Just swipe it. That month or year, whatever, you die once, my friend. You die once, then you'll recover. That's how I do my things. Buy cash, die once. So it's what I would say, do to this vehicle. But if you can afford this vehicle over finance, then you know what? Go ahead. Don't listen to me. Finance it and then tell me how it goes. But overall, so you need to remember that this car competes with the likes of your X5. This is a bit more premium and a bit more pricey, but it competes like your X5, your GLEs. And for the amount of money here, is it better than an X5? Is it better than a GLE? Is it better? I'll be reaching if I include a Q7 into place, but is it better than those vehicles? Personally, for now, I can't say. I haven't had those vehicles on test. Hopefully in the coming, next year I should get an X5 or something, or a GLE, hopefully. Then I'll be able to tell you, is this worth the extra amount of money? But for now, is it worth the 2.8 million asking price tag? And honestly, for what you get in this vehicle, yes, it is. Would I buy this vehicle? Yes, I would, if I had the money. Would I look elsewhere? Tough. I'll need to do a strong sit down with cameraman Vaughn there for me to get another vehicle, if not this vehicle. But I've told you every single thing you need to know about the vehicle. Comment down below what you'd like to know that I may not have covered. And obviously you guys can see that I have a new t-shirt. I'm wearing new t-shirts. So yeah, these are 350 nationwide delivery. Hit me up, place your orders now. I'll see you in the next one. Switch Out South Africa, in part association with Change Cars. Change Cars is a trusted online website because they work with trusted dealers and the best insure in South Africa, Discovery Insure.